All right. All right. Shalom, Israel. With an Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group nor any other Christian organization. All right. So tonight's class is the Lashawan Qadash class. All right. Tonight's class, we're going to be in the Lashawan Qadash class, which stands for Holy Tongue. Translate, that means the Holy Tongue. All right. It's very, very important to come into the Lashawan Qadash class because this is where you learn who you are. This is how you learn your language. Like, this is the part of the culture and the heritage that the Lord passed down to the Israelites. Like, this is the language that the Lord gave to the Israel. You understand? And I want everyone to pay very close attention to that very important fact. Like, this is the Lord's language. Like, this is the language of the Israelites. Like, this is the language of the Jews. Like, this is who we are. This is who we're supposed to be. Like, right here. Like, that's something very, very important to understand. Like, this right here is us, our culture, our heritage, the traditions that the Lord passed down to us. Right? So if you are so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native American, pay very close attention to this. All right? I want y'all to pay very close attention to this. So now what we have on the board is the alphabet. All right? So each class, we're going to go over the alphabet, all right? Make it nice and simple, all right? So now, we're going to go over it briefly, all right? Because we want to get into the lesson, right? So tonight's lesson is going to be about the future tense, all right? That's what tonight's lesson is going to be. It's going to be about the future tense. So what you see on the board is the alphabet, but in the Assyrian script. All right, what you got is the Assyrian script. Right, let me get my glasses on. So what we have here is the Assyrian script. So the first letter we have is your A. So we're going to go over this briefly, all right? The reason why we want to go over the Assyrian script, because the Assyrian script is what you're going to see the most. Like, you're mostly going to see the Assyrian script. Like, there's not the most of the Bibles that are written in the Hebrew, that are written in the Lashawan Qadash, all right, it's written in the Assyrian script. So what we have here, the first letter is your A. This is what your A looks like. Then this is your Ba. This is your Ga. This is your Da. This is your Ha. This is your Wa. This is your Za. This is your Cha. This is your Ta. This is your Ya. This is your Ka. In the beginning or the middle, in the middle of the word. This is your Ka. In the beginning or in the middle of a word. This is your Ka. Only found at the end of a word. This is your Ka. Only found at the end of a word. This is your La. This is your Ma. Found in the front or in the middle of a word. This is your Ma. When it's found in the middle, in the beginning or the middle of a word. This is your Ma. This will always be found at the end of a word. This is your Ma. This will always be found at the end of a word. This is your Na. This is your Na. This is a Na that will be found in the beginning or middle of the word. This is what a Na looks like, and it will be found in the beginning or the middle of a word. This is what your Na will look like as well, only at the end of a word. This is your Na. It will only be found at the end of a word. This is your Sa. This is your Sa. This is what your Sa looks like. Sa. This is your I. Right? This is your I. This is what your I looks like. This is your Pa. This is what your Pa looks like in the beginning or middle of the word. In the beginning or the middle of the word. This is also your Pa. This will only be found at the end of the word. This is your Pa. It will only be found at the end of the word. This is your Tazah, found in the beginning or the middle of a word. This is your tazah, found in the beginning or the middle of the word. This is your tazah. This is your tazah, found at the end of a word. This is your tazah, found at the end of the word. This is your qua. This is your qua. All right. This is what your qua looks like. This is your qua. This is your ra. All right. This is your ra. This is your ra. This is what your ra looks like. This is your sha. All right. This is your sha. This is what your sha looks like. And this is your tha. This is what your tha looks like. All right. This is your tha. All right. So that's the alphabet right there. I'll give you a time to look at it. But a, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, cha, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, za, kwa, ra, sha, ka. So one more time. This is your a, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, cha, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, za, kwa, ra, sha, ba. That's how it should sound. A, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, cha, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, za, kwa, ra, sha, ba. All right. A, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, cha, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, za, kwa, ra, sha, ba. All right. That's what your alphabet looks like. So let's get into the lesson. We're going to get this off the board. We're going to get into the lesson. So now tonight we're going to be working on the future tense. The future tense is very important. We did the present, we did the past, and now we're on the future. We did the present, we did the past, now we are in the future. Past, present, and now future. So now, remember very carefully. So now we're working on the future tense. I want everyone to pay very close attention, all right? The future tense is something, all right? Well, of course, we're going to be working on verb conjugations. But the future tense is something that's being spoken about in the future, meaning something is going to happen. It's not happening at the now, right? It's not happening right now. It didn't just happen like as if it was in the past, but it's going to happen, meaning it will happen, right? It will happen. Things spoken about in the future, like I will go to the store, or I will do this, or I will do that, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. All right? You're speaking in the present, you're speaking in the future tense. Like if you go up to somebody and be like, if someone goes to like, hey, did you complete that? And you're like, oh, I'm going to complete that. That's not you speaking in the present tense. That's also you not speaking in the past tense. That's you speaking in the future tense. Does everybody understand that? I know that can be confusing because you're like, oh, well, ing, right? Ing means present tense, right? Well, not necessarily, all right? I want y'all to think more so. I want y'all to kind of get into the habit and think more so as if you're speaking English. But think about it. If you want to say, I'm going to the store. If someone says, hey, did you get those groceries yet? And you're like, nah, I'm going to the store. All right, I'll be going to the store, whatever the case may be. At that point, you're speaking in the future tense. All right, you're speaking in the future tense. You want to be very, very careful. All right, and I want y'all to kind of get into that habit. All right, I want y'all to kind of think about what kind of sentences you want to create so you can start building sentences in the Hebrew. Like that's the point of the past, the present, and the future. Now the future, I always wait for last to do because it's not that it's confusing, but it's a lot to remember. All right. It's a few things you want to remember. Now, if anyone has any questions, do not be afraid to put it into the live chat. If you have any questions, don't forget to check in and sign in. All right. Don't forget to put your name, city, and state. All right. Do not forget to put your name, city, and state. So you'll be like, oh, I'll be going to the store, or I'll be doing that, or I'll eat later, or I'm gonna eat later on. Right? If you say I'm gonna eat later on, that's not you talking in the present tense. All right, that's you talking in the future tense. I'm gonna eat. All right, I'm gonna eat later on. You're not speaking presently. You're speaking in the future tense. Right? Or I'm gonna go to the store. Right? You can either be speaking in the present or the future. Whichever you would want to use, you would not be incorrect. At least for whatever you do, whoever you're talking to, they'll know either you're going to be doing it now or you're going to be doing it later. That's the point of the tenses. All right. So what we got, all right, is the future tense. Now remember, when it comes to verb conjugations, all right, I want everyone to remember verb conjugations. All right, verb conjugations. Verb conjugations mean there's a change within the verb, meaning something's going to change. When you're conjugating verbs, that means you're changing something, meaning something is turning into something. It's no longer what it is. Like the verb run is the original form of the verb run, but running is a conjugation. Ran is a conjugation. Will run would be the conjugation. All right, I want everybody to understand that. Like will run would be the conjugation, just no physical change to the actual verb or the word itself. Now, Salakia. Now, I want everyone to pay very close attention to this. All right, pay very, very close attention. Dealing with verb conjugations, remember from the previous lessons, everything is based off of the subject pronoun. You want to know what the subject pronoun is. All right, you will not be able to conjugate the verb, and you will not be able to structure your sentences properly unless you know the subject pronoun. The subject pronouns matter. You have to know your pronouns, period, when it comes to sentence structure, period. You understand? Like pronouns are very important. I know in America, they don't give a damn about pronouns. But in the Hebrew language, the Lord, he cares about pronouns. It matters what gender you are. It matters what pronoun you're using. You have to know the subject pronoun. You want to study on object pronouns. And you want to get well known and familiar with possessive pronouns. You want to know your pronouns. Now, specifically, when it comes to conjugating verbs, your subject pronoun is what's important. You will not be able to conjugate the verb unless you know your subject pronoun. You won't even get past the first step unless you know your subject pronoun, because everything is based off of your subject pronoun. Everything is based off of your subject pronoun. Every conjugation is based off of your subject pronoun. Every conjugation is based off of your subject pronoun. All right. So what we're going to get first is your anya. All right. I'm going to write it in the black marker, actually. So you have anya. I'm going to be writing it in the English, okay? So this is your ah. This is your ah, anya, which equals I or I am. So the first thing we have on the board is the subject pronoun. That's the first thing we have on the board. So the first thing we have on the board is the subject pronoun. Everything is based off of your subject pronoun. All right. In order for you for you to know, all right, how to conjugate that verb, you have to have your anya, which means I or I am. All right. I or I am. All right. Now this right here, this goes for masculine and feminine. All right. This could be masculine and feminine, or position of authority, or subservient. All right. So this is a neutrality. This is how you will conjugate no matter what your gender is. All right, or no matter the position that you're in, you're going to be saying whatever I conjugate on the verb, whatever I conjugate on the board, all right, is what it is, and this is what you will say. All right. So now let's get a verb out there that we anyone want to choose a verb out there? Someone give me a verb. It could be one of the 100 most common verbs. It could be makala. It could be ahab. It could be asap. It could be abal. It could be halak. It could be yalak. It could be yashab. It could be aisha. It could be anything. Y'all throw me out a verb that y'all would like to use. It could be naquam. You know what I'm saying? It could be anything. Y'all throw it out there. If not, of course, I can choose one if y'all would like to. All right. Well, I'll probably, of course, you know, I would most likely choose one that y'all have not, you know, used yet. So that's fine. But if not, let's get it. Let's get the verb. Let's see what verb we can get. All right. This is what I'll do. I'll use shayam. Does anybody know what yasham means? It's like a shayam. Shayam. Does anybody know what shayam means? All right. Anybody? What does shayam mean? That's a lot, yeah. Anybody know what shayam means? If not, I'll let y'all know, of course. Shayam. We got ashayam. Ashayam. All right. Meaning, all right, set in place. This right here is I will set in place. I will set in place. So if you want to set something somewhere, and you want to set something in place, all right? Like I'm going to set something in order, or I'm going to set something in place, or I'm going to place something here, I'm going to set it here. This is the verb that you will use, all right? So if you want to set something somewhere, like I'm going to set it up here, or I'm going to set it in place here, or set it up over there, or set it up over here. I'm going to set it here, or you will set it here, or they will set it here, or he will set it here. Set in place, you would use the verb shayam. All right, shayam. So what we have on the board right here is our first conjugation. All right. So you have, and I want everyone to pay very close attention. All right. In the English, right? So you have anya. You have anya, which means I or I am. This is your subject pronoun, right? This is what your subject pronoun looks like. Everything is based off of your subject pronoun. Now you have is the conjugation. This is the original verb, shayam. This is what it will originally look like. Shayam, shayam, shayam. But since you're going to conjugate it, based off of your subject pronoun, you have an I. All right, you have an I. Okay, it's I. So now it's ashayam. All right, ashayam, ashayam, which means I will set in place. I will set in place because it's talking about the future tense. All right, it's talking about the future tense. So I want you to pay very close attention to it. All right, I want y'all to pay very close attention to it. I will set in place. This right here is this. This is how you know that this is that. I will set in place because it's in the future. Everything is conjugated based off of your subject pronoun. So anya, I or I am, that's your subject pronoun. Ashayam, set in place. So anya ashayam. So if you want to set your TV up, you would say anya, or you say I will set my TV up, or I will set up my TV. You would say anya ashayam ra'adaba. I will set up my TV. All right. Ra'adaba is how you would say TV. Ra'a meaning to see, the ba meaning box. So ra'a, right? Ra'a meaning to see, ra'a meaning box because it's a square. It's a rectangular shape. All right. It's a square shape. So the ba. All right. Ra'a the ba. Okay. Ra'a the ba, which literally translates into watch box or see box, look box, whatever. That's what you do with a television. You look at it and it's a box, it's a square. All right, that's where that translation comes from. Of course, you're not going to see TV in the Bible, okay? But the brothers that came before us, all right, the Bible, the Hebrew language is slang, by the way, okay? It's slang. It's slang within itself. So how we speak is slang. The things that are written in the Bible is slang, and also some of the things that we create is also slang. Okay. So think about it this way. In some languages, there's no real translation to certain things. That's what you would do. Everybody understand where I'm coming from with that? So ra'ad daba, okay. Also, you will be able to find that word ra'ad daba in the document. If you guys want any documents, let me know. Put your email in the live chat, and I will send it to you. Okay. All right. I will send you the documents in the PDFs of the prayers, of the present tense, the past tense, the future tense, as well as a whole bunch of words to know. All right. But ra'ad daba is on that PDF file. Okay. Which means TV. All right. Ra'ad daba. So if you want to set your TV up or set your TV, you would say anya ashayam ra'ad daba. All right. That's how you would say it. All right. You don't even have to say the anya. You can just say ashayam ra'ad daba. Now, before I leave this, okay, I want y'all to understand, all right, that all right, slang wise too, this doesn't always mean it's in the future tense. This can also be in the present tense too. All right, this can also be in the present tense too. All right, this verb right here can also be present tense. Why? Because of that ah. So you have to pay very close attention to that. All right, pay very close attention to that. I don't want to confuse y'all. All right, but just know This is the conjugation for the future tense. But this is slang, all right, or shorthand, all right, to also write I set up in the present tense without putting the Y between the first and second letter. All right? Everybody understand that? Let me know if I'm confusing anyone, but I'll say it one more time. This is slang as well for the present tense to say I am. Instead of saying anya, you put an I in front of the verb and you don't put the Y between the first and second letter. And this would say I set in place instead of saying I will set in place. Okay? So let me know if I'm confusing anyone. All right, I won't move on until I get like a con or a la, but this is how you conjugate in the future tense for the subject pronoun I or I am, which is anya in the Hebrew. All right. All right. Anybody let me know? Confused. Okay, got it. No sweat. All right, I'll explain it one more time too. Okay? And I'm going to start from the beginning. So this is the future tense conjugation. All right? Everything is conjugated based off of your subject pronoun. This is your subject pronoun. All right? Anya. All right? Anya, I, or I am. All right? This is the future tense conjugation. You would add a I in front of the verb shayam. All right? So this would be anya ashayam, meaning I will set in place. I will set in place. So this is the future conjugation for I will set in place. This is the future conjugation based off of the subject pronoun anya, using the verb shayam, meaning to set in place. All right? So now let's say for an example, I'm gonna erase some things. Let's say let's say you're reading the Bible, right? Let's say you're reading the Bible, all right? Let's say you're reading the Bible, okay? So let's say you guys are reading the Bible, y'all reading the scriptures, and all you guys see is this, right? And all you guys see is this, right? Now, of course, just by looking at it, you know that this is the verb, this is the future tense conjugation for the verb shayam based off of the subject pronoun I am, just by looking at it. Because you know there's a I in front of the in front. All right? You get that so far? Aqua, let me know if you get that so far. All right? So let me know if you get that part. All right? Without anything there, you're reading this, you know right off rip, this is the future conjugation of the subject pronoun I am, which is anya, which is adding a in front of the shayam, which means I will set in place. So if nothing else was there and you just seen this, you know that information. Okay, I get it. There you go. Now, so you get that part. So now, let's say, this can also mean, all right, this is Olay as well. Now, if you only see this, right, as well, it doesn't always mean it's the future tense. This can also be the present tense because this can also be saying right here. Then What about now? So now this could also mean I shayam, can also mean I set in place, which is present tense slang. Instead of saying anya, you're just saying I shayam. You get that? Does everybody get it now? Let me know. Let me know if you get that also as well, Aqua. Just let me know. This is just slang for the present tense as well. So this has two meanings. All right, it has two meanings. It can be, all right, a future tense conjugation, but it can also be present tense slang, as in just quickly saying I set in place, without really conjugating the verb in the present tense. Okay? Let me know if you get it now. Also, anyone else in class, don't forget to put your name, city, and state. Do not forget to check in and sign in and put your name, city, and state. Don't forget to put your name, city, and state. All right? You want to check in. Con, okay, Most High in Christ. All right. Let's get the next. All right, let's get the next verb conjugation, all right? If you guys have any questions too, make sure you put it into the live chat. All right. Do not be afraid to ask questions, because you're going to want to know this. All right. All right. Make sure you guys know this. And here's the reason why I want you guys to know this. Because at the Lord's Passover, all right, at the Lord's Passover, if I see y'all at the Lord's Passover, and then I see y'all in my class majority of the time, I'm going to talk to y'all in Hebrew. And y'all better not mess up either. All right? And if I mess up, I bet not mess up either. All right? Y'all better learn this. All right? So if I see you at the Passover this year, all right, in Cocoa Beach, Florida, I want y'all to be speaking in the present, the future, and the past tense. All right? I want y'all to be able to speak this Hebrew. All right? So let's get it. So the next subject pronoun we're going to get is atha. All right? We're going to get the next one on the board, atha. All right? Yeah, atha. All right? Yeah, atha. All right? Which is you. Atha is you. All right? Atha is you. All right? Atha is you. All right? Right now. All right, atha is you. So atha is the subject pronoun you. This is the next subject pronoun. All right. We're going to get the next verb. Let's say, okay. Perfect. Let's say you dwell or you live somewhere. So let's get the verb dwell, all right, which is shakan. All right, shakan, meaning to dwell, meaning you live somewhere. So to make sense of that, to dwell meaning you live here. It's not so much you actually living, like breathing oxygen and then giving out carbon dioxide or whatever the case may be. No, put that down. It's more so like you living somewhere, like you live in a house, you live in a tent, you live in the woods, you live outside. That's what it means to dwell. Like I dwell in Jerusalem. I'm saying I live in Jerusalem. Let's say I dwell in Virginia. That means I live in Virginia. I dwell, or I will live in North Carolina, right? That's me saying I will dwell in North Carolina, meaning I will live in North Carolina. Shakan is the verb. Shakan. Shakan. All right. So what we're going to do is conjugate it based off of the subject pronoun of God. Shakan. Dwell. All right. Dwell. Which means you will, I'm gonna write it this way, will, that's better, you will dwell. You will dwell. All right. You will dwell. You will dwell. You will dwell, or you will live. All right. I'll add that underneath so you guys know what I mean. To live somewhere, or to dwell somewhere, or to stay somewhere. All right. To stay somewhere, to live somewhere, to dwell somewhere. This is the verb you would use. You would use the verb shakan. Okay, you would use the verb shakan. So what we have right here, atah is your subject pronoun. Atah in the Hebrew is you in the English. So atah, that's your subject pronoun. The way you conjugate is you put atah in front. In the future tense, a lot of stuff will be put in the front of the verb. That's the point I wanted to make. I knew I was missing something. There's going to be a pattern in every tense that we do. All right? There's going to be a pattern in every tense we do. Like for an example, when you conjugate in the past tense, right? Past, think past. The past tense, think past. It's in the back. Like it's from the past. Like the past is behind you, right? Like the past is behind you. Well, guess what? When you conjugate in the past tense, most of the conjugations is found at the end, in the back of the verb, at the end of the verb. Well, in the future tense, most of the conjugations will always be in the front of the verb because the future is in front of you. The future is ahead of you. All right? That's why it's in the front. All right? The Lord did not make anything complicated. The Lord made a lot of things very simple for us to understand. All right? Like for instance, the present tense. All right? The present tense, when you conjugate it, you'll always have a y between or in the middle, all right, of the first and second letter. Because you're in the middle. All right? You're presently stuck in the middle. You're not in the past. You're not in the future. That means you're in the goddamn middle. All right? The Lord did not make anything confusing. All right? So think about it that way. If you want to remember the pattern, remember it that way. The present is always in the middle because it's between the past and the future. The present tense is always in the middle because it's between the past and the future. The past always go at the end of the verb because it's behind you. It's in the back of you. The future will always be in front of the verb because it's in front of you. The future is ahead of you. All right? So you see this da is ahead of you. This da is ahead of you. You put a da in front or in the beginning of the verb, da shakan. All right? Meaning you will dwell. Da shakan. Meaning you will dwell. All right? You will, all right? You will dwell. Salakia. Kept on saying that incorrectly. You will dwell. All right? You will dwell. Also, if I may add, so there's no confusion too. All right? This is, I'll put it right here. Put that in your notes. All right, make sure you put that into your notes. Now, so you are talking about a brother, or you're talking to a brother, right? And you say, oh, you live here, and you're talking about a brother, meaning, oh, you will live here. You would use this. You would use salaki. You would use this conjugation. All right. So if you're talking to or about a brother, all right, most likely about a brother, because mostly you're not really telling a brother. You're not really telling a brother what to do. Salaki, everybody. Right. So, So now, of course, you really wouldn't be telling a brother you're going to live somewhere or you will live somewhere. 9 times out of 10, you might be asking a question, or you might be repeating what the brother's saying, or whatever the case may be. This you is masculine. This you is a position of authority sense. So you're talking to the you. All right. So you're talking about the you, and you're talking to the you in the future tense. That's why if you are a brother or a sister, you would say, and you're talking to or about a brother, you would say da shakan, all right, in the masculine, in the position of authority sense. Does everybody understand what I just said? Because that's grammatical, all right? You want to be grammatical. You want to put everything in its proper way, all right? So if you are talking to or about a brother, and you are a brother or a sister, and you're talking to or about a brother, you would use that atha. This is masculine in position of authority. You will put the tha in front, shakan. Let me know if everybody gets that. All right. Let me know. Let me know if y'all get it. If not, that's fine. But I don't want to move on until I know for sure y'all definitely understand what I'm saying. All right. Most High in Christ. All right. For time's sake, as well, we'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Okay. All right. Now, this is why. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all a hint. Okay, and I'm gonna give y'all some goals. All right. When talking in the future tense, remember how I taught you guys in the present and in the past. You don't necessarily have to use the subject pronoun, right? Because what's written here is already implied what the conjugation is. Y'all remember that, correct? In the future tense, you do not want to do that, right? You want to practice using the subject pronoun to let people know who or what you're talking about, all right? Now, there's no penalty using it in the present or the past tense, by the way, all right? If you guys really want to practice, by the way, I definitely encourage I definitely encourage you guys to use the subject pronoun. But in the future tense, you want to use, you want to, you want to use, so in the future, right, for the future tense, you want to use the subject pronoun. And here's why. To kill two birds with one stone, I'll tell you why. And show you why, of course. All right. Of course, what you see on the board can also mean, all right, on the board, it'll also mean she will. All right. You got Haya'a. One second word. Haya'a, meaning she. There you go. All right. So this is how you would conjugate, all right, as well. This is why I want y'all to use the subject pronouns here. Here's why. The reason why, because you see this da, it's the very same conjugation. All right, it's the very same conjugation based off of the masculine position authority tense of you, I thought. All right. So it can also mean she will dwell, or she will live, or she will stay somewhere. All right. All right. So Haya'a Dashakan, she will dwell. All right. Okay. It can also mean that as well. Okay. So put that into your notes as well. All right. Put it into your notes as well. And then we'll get the next conjugation. All right. Let me know if you guys understand and get it. All right. So Haya'a Dashakar. Haya'a Dashakar. She will dwell. She will dwell in Jersey somewhere. Or she will dwell in California. She'll dwell in Alaska. All right. All right. Let's get. All right. Let's get the next one. All right. Next, we're going to get, all right, you, all right, but in the subservient tense or the feminine tense, all right? So we're still going to get atha. You got your atha, right? Your atha is your subject pronoun. All right? Your atha is your subject pronoun. All right? Which is your you. All right? That's your subject pronoun, you. Remember, everything is based off of your subject pronoun. Everything is based off of your subject pronoun. All right? So your atha is you. All right? Let's get the blue marker. You got your tha. Shakan, meaning to dwell, right? Shakan, meaning to dwell. So tha, shakan. Then you have something else. And here you go. You have atha, da shakanya, meaning you will dwell, all right? But it's in subservient or feminine tense. So atha, which is the subject pronoun you, you'll put a tha in front of the verb and a ya at the end. All right? Remember, in most cases, in the future tense, there will always be something in front. There will always be something in front of the verb, in most cases, for the future tense. So, atha, da, shakanya, all right, wherever you want to live, or wherever she lives. So, if you're talking to a you, male or female, if you are talking to a you, either if you are a male talking to or about a female, you will use this. If you are a female talking to or about a sister in the future tense, you will say this. Because remember, the you is the subject pronoun. That you is the pronoun. That you has a gender to it. All right? That you has a gender to it. Say that one more time. That you has a gender to it. All right? So because that you, because you're talking to someone, right? You're not talking about yourself. You're talking to someone else. All right? You can say whatever you want about yourself. But you want to make sure when you're addressing someone else, you want to make sure you're addressing them in the proper context. So if you're talking to or about, all right, most likely, let's say a sister or something, or like your mother or your daughter, the you is her. So male or female, when you're talking to about mother, daughter, some her, some she, some feminine something, okay? You'll say dashakanya, all right? Dashakanya, all right? Atha dashakanya, meaning you will dwell. The Dashakanya, Cocoa Beach, Florida, all right? Not bad, right? I'm sure, I promise you, it's not as hard, right? When it comes to learning conjugations, all right, and learning about the future, the present, the past, it's all about repetition, all right? All about doing it over and over and over again, all right? Over and over and over again. The Lord says in the Bible, rehearse the righteous acts. I haven't said that scripture in a while. The Bible says to rehearse the righteous acts, meaning, all right, meaning you repeat them. You do them over and over and over again. it becomes second nature to you. Like not eating pork is second nature. In the ISUPK, not having sex with whores is second nature. All right? Not eating shrimp and lobster, that's second nature. You understand? Everybody get it? Not stealing from someone in the ISUPK is second nature. And we know exactly what to do. All right? We know how to rehearse the righteous act. All right? All right? That's what it means to rehearse the righteous act. You do it over and over and over again. You do it over and over and over again until it's second nature. That's the purpose. That's the purpose, all right? Everybody understand that? That's the purpose. So now let's get the next one, all right? So now we're going to get Hawa'a. All right, Hawa'a. Hawa'a. Hadazar. Sit down. So you got Hawa'a, which is he. All right? Hawa, like a Hawa'a, is the subject pronoun for he. Hawa, like a Hawa'a, is the subject pronoun for he. Hawa'a is the subject pronoun for he. All right? Now, let's find out a verb. Let's see what verb we can use. Let's use shalaka. All right? Shalaka. All right? Shalaka. All right? That's a good word. All right? Shalaka. So, to conjugate it, you will put a ya in front. Then you have the verb shalaka. S-H-A-L-A. Let me see. K-A. I want to say Shala. I want to say Shalakia. It may just be Shalak. And let me double check that. I want to say it's just Shalak. All right, 1 second. Shalak. That's why I was saying something completely different. Salakia. I was Salakia. That's what happened. Not Shalaka. All right. That's why I was confusing myself. Salakia about that. All right. Kala. All right. Kala. Which means, I believe, let's see. Kala. It means to finish. Finish. Meaning he will finish. He will finish. All right? He will finish. So you have Hawa'a, Yakala, all right? That's why I was probably saying Shalaka, Salakia. Hawa'a, Yakala, all right? Meaning he will finish. He will finish. So you want to conjugate in the future tense based off of the subject pronoun he, which is Hawa, you would say, you would put a ya in front of the verb, and it's yakala. All right, yakala. Yakala, meaning he will finish. All right, he will finish. All right, he will finish. So hawa right? Yakala. Hawa yakala. He will finish. Kala meaning to finish. Right? If you want to finish something, you can use the verb kala. All right? If you want to make something, all right? If you want to make something, you would use the verb aisha. But aisha can also mean to finish or complete. You can use that too as well. But the most common for finish is kala. The most common to make something, right, is aisha. But we use kala, all right? We're going to use kala because it means to finish, all right? Remember, a lot of our words can mean the same thing, all right? But out of those definitions or out of those meanings for those words, one will stick out, all right? Like for instance, you have the word in the English understand. Then you have the word in the English to comprehend. They both mean the same thing, but they're two different words. But most people will say I understand before they say I comprehend. Does that make sense? One is better used depending on the sentence you're trying to make. So what you want to do is remember that. All right. Take that into consideration when you're making sentences and structuring sentences. So you want to say, oh, he will finish. You can easily say Ya Aisha, right? And you will say he will finish. All right. But if you say Ya Aisha to me, right, I might take it as, oh, he will make it, or he will make something, or he will get something done. But I would say he will make it first because Aisha is the verb to make. All right, to make something. All right, before it's to get something done or to finish. All right. So be careful. So be careful on what words you want to use. All right. Just be discretional. And when you use it, use body language. Use context clues of what you're talking about. All right. Our language, sometimes you gotta use your hands or express yourself differently because it's not English, right? It's the Hebrew language. Our language is spiritual. So you're gonna have to kind of, move and vibe with it. You're gonna have to add a little stuff to your story or to your body language, all right, to understand, you know what I'm saying? All right, so take it that way. All right. Let's get the next one. All right. Let's get the next one. So this huge word on the board is only for this two-letter word in the English. All right. Anaknawa, which means we. Anaknawa is how you would say we. All right. This is why I don't like using the subject pronouns. All right. Because of anaknawa. I rather just conjugate it. All right. And just use it as it is. Now, you can get away with not using the subject pronoun for anaknawa in the future tense. All right. You can somewhat get away with it because the way it's conjugated. All right. I don't want to give you guys the answer yet, but because of how it's conjugated. All right. But y'all probably already know. So, let's see. Let's say we will serve. Let's say we will serve. Now I buy. All right. We will serve. So now what you see on the board is exactly why, all right, what we see on the board is exactly why I choose just to say na aiba or na, whatever the verb may be. So anaknawa is the subject pronoun. Anaknawa is we. To way to conjugate ibad, all right, you would add a na in front of the word. You would add a na in front of the verb. So when you're reading the Hebrew and you see the letter na in front, just know that's a future tense conjugation for we. So anaknawa na ibad, meaning to serve, meaning we will serve. All right. Want to say, let's say we will anaknawa na ibad Yahawashai. We will serve Christ. All right. It's just that simple. Think about it that way. Very easy. All right. Not hard at all, right? All right. So you can get away with just saying na ibad because that na in front of the verb already knows that it's conjugated from the we. So we will serve na. You put a na in front of the verb. You put a na in front of the verb, meaning we will do something. All right. We will serve. All right. Anak nawa na ibad, we will serve. Anak nawa na ibad. All right. All right. We will serve. All right. All right. Let's get the next one on the board. Na'ibad, meaning we will serve. All right. So what we'll get next is a thumb. A thumb. A thumb. Right? Which is y'all. All right? Y'all. But in the masculine position of authority. All right? So we got a thumb on the board. A thumb is the subject pronoun. All right? A thumb is the subject pronoun. So let's conjugate it. Well, not the subject pronoun, sorry. Let's conjugate the verb we're going to use. So we're going to use, Salaki, what's the verb? Pequod. Let's try pequod. All right? Pequod. Anybody know what pequod means? Pequod. Pequod. The Lord is going to pequod y'all. All right? The Lord is going to pequod y'all. All right? Or pequod y'all Edomites. All right? The Lord's going to pequod y'all Edomites. All right? And no, pequod does not mean kill. Not necessarily. All right? It does not mean kill. All right? But not necessarily. All right? Pequod. Pequod. Pequod is to visit. To visit. All right? To visit. All right? Y'all will visit. Y'all will visit. Y'all will visit. Or you all will visit. All right? Thapaquadwa. Thapaquadwa. So a thumb is the subject pronoun. A thumb is y'all in the Hebrew. In the masculine, in the position of authority tense. All right? Put it together. You put your thigh in front of pequod, and then your y in the back of the verb is da pequadwa. Da pequadwa. Pequod means to visit. So y'all will visit. All right? Y'all will visit. Y'all will visit. Y'all will visit. All right? Meaning you will visit. So a thumb da pequadwa. A thumb da pequadwa. Meaning y'all will visit. All right? This can all now to give y'all you can also ask the question the very same way, like y'all will visit. You know what I'm saying? As a question, or will y'all visit? Tapaquadwa. All right? It means the same thing. Tapaquadwa. Will you visit or will you all visit? Da pequadwa. All right. Da pequadwa. All right. Y'all will visit. Y'all will visit. Y'all will visit. A thumb. The pequadwa. All right. You will visit. You will visit. All right. The pequadwa. All right. It's the same as asking the question as well. The pequadwa. As in, will y'all visit? All right. So let's kill two birds with one stone as well. So instead, let's add a na. Next, we're going to get a thun. All right, a thun, which is y'all for feminine or subservient. All right. Not much of a change, right? Very similar, right? But when you're talking to or about, well, mostly you're talking to or about a group of sisters, all right, or a group of women, period, all right? Of course, all right, if you're a human being and you're talking to another human being and about another human being, all right, most likely that human being, if you're talking like this, will be a sister or a woman, okay? Now, the reason why I said human being a lot is because the reason why that subservient tense is there is because you can see something like this, and that's the Lord talking to the nation of Israel, because the nation of Israel is put in the subservient tense, in a position of serving, which, all right, in a woman's perspective, all right, women are in a position of serving their husband or serving the man above them. Well, the Lord is a man of war. The Lord is always in the masculine tense. The Lord is like a husband to the nation of Israel. That's why when we go serve other gods, that's why in the Bible it says adultery. To commit adultery to the Lord is to serve another God. All right? Because it's almost as if the Lord is a husband to us, all right, to the nation of Israel. So you guys can understand that. All right, there's two concepts that you want to understand in the Bible for the Lord: the father concept and the husband concept. All right, if you can understand the father concept and you can understand the husband concept, then you'll truly have a breakthrough. All right, you truly will. Okay, you'll start to understand the scriptures and understand what the Lord is talking about. All right, and you will also understand the language that He speaks. All right, which is the Lashawan Qadash. All right, so you have a thun, which is you plural, in the feminine and the subservient tense. to conjugate it, you'll put a tha in front of the verb and then a na at the end of the verb, and it'll be tha pequadna. Tha pequadna. All right, tha pequadna. All right, it'll be tha pequadna. Tha pequadna, meaning y'all will visit, but in the feminine or the subservient tense. Tha pequadna. Tha pequadna. All right, pequadna. So tha pequadna. So when you see a na and a ha at the end of something, and then you see a tha at the end, I want y'all to know it's a conjugation in the future tense. All right. Now remember, you guys will see them. All right. It's not that you won't. You will see these conjugations in the Bible. All right. All right. Tha pequadna. Let's see. We have enough time. I believe we do. All right. I believe we do. Okay, Con. Yeah, we have enough time for the next two. Let's see. That's a perfect one. All right. Let's get the next one. What we'll get next is ham. That's the next subject pronoun we'll get is ham. Okay, we'll get ham. So ham meaning they. All right. Ham meaning they. So ham is the subject pronoun for they. All right. That's the subject pronoun for they. This is in the masculine position of authority. All right. Position of authority. So this is in the masculine and the position of authority tense. Now the reason why I put that there is so you guys know, but in future references, it should already be implied because of the ham. All right. But I only wrote that there just so you guys know ham is masculine. It's masculine, okay? For anyone, that may not have known. All right. Now you have is, I believe it's ya and a wa. Okay, it's a ya and a wa. A ya and a wa. Most high in Christ. Look at me. I think I know a little bit. Salakia. All right. The way you would conjugate it, we're going to use the verb Nepal. All right. Does anybody know what Nepal means? Nepal. You'll add a ya in the beginning and then a wa at the end. Nepal meaning fall. Fall. So they They will fall. They will fall. All right. Now it's Yanapalwa. Now, no one leave yet because I want y'all to understand something, right? Remember when I told you, right? You want to use the subject pronoun, right? You want to use the subject pronoun. And the reason why I said that is because a lot of this can be very repetitious, and a lot of this can sound similar to something else. All right? That's why I want you guys to use the subject pronouns, because it could sound similar to something else. All right? So, like for instance, a Y at the end will always be for a so a Y at the end in the future tense will always be referring to the masculine or the position of authority tense, right? Okay. And a ya in the beginning will always be referred to someone that's either a male or masculine or the position of authority tense. All right. Like that's a similarity. All right. And a na, right? A na will always go, right, behind something that's feminine. All right. But a ya at the end of something, right, will be something put at the end of something that's feminine. A ya. The reason why I say that is because in the future tense, a lot of this will look like it's the same, but you want to be able to tell the differences. So the best way to do it is to keep the subject pronoun and practice saying it with the subject pronoun. So now you have ham, which is they, all right, in the masculine position of authority, ham. To conjugate the verb, all right, you put a ya in front of the verb and then a y at the end, which translates to they will fall, all right? So Yanapalwa is saying they will fall. So if I want to say Adawam Yanapalwa, right? Adawam Yanapalwa, I'm saying Edom will fall. All right? Edom, they will fall. Right? Of course, the they has been taking place with the Edom. So Adawam is how you would say Edom. So let's say Adawam Yanapalwa. Edom will fall. So Adawam Yanapalwa. All right. Edom will fall. Or you can say Babylon will fall. Right? Like Babylon will fall. That's something we pray for, right? So you would say Babal Yanapalwa. They will fall. All right. Okay. Now, in most cases, now this is just an example. Okay. All right. In most cases, I don't want y'all to use that as an example. All right. But Salakia for using that as an example, because I should have used that example for the next one, because most nations are in the feminine tense. All right. So Salakia on my behalf, but I just wanted to give y'all an example. So if you guys wanted to make a post about Edom falling, wait until I put Han on the board and then use that. Okay. All right. So just give me 1 second. I believe it's a thigh and a knot. Okay. Almost like I'm getting pretty good at this. So now we got Han. All right. We got Han. So let's get it. You got Han, which is they in the feminine and subservient. You put a tha in front and a na in the back. So tha napal now, like it. All right. So ha is they, which is feminine or subservient. Okay. Ha, they, feminine, subservient. Okay. You know that because it's ha. Okay. Ha. Right. So they will fall, but in the feminine tense. Tha napalna. Tha napalna. Napalna. So the reason why you want to say tha napalna, if you want to say Adawam, tha napalna, because most lands and nations in the Bible are referred to as a she or a her. Okay, so because most nations in the Bible are referred to as a her or a she, all right, you want feminine tense, all right. So if y'all want to make a post on Facebook like, hey, they will fall, or like America will fall, you can say America Dana Paulina, or Babal Dana Paulina, right? Or Adawam Dana Paulina, meaning they will fall in the feminine tense. All right? Everybody get it? Does everybody understand that last part though? Like everybody gets why you have to use the feminine tense in this case, right? Does everybody understand that? Does everybody understand why you have to use the feminine tense? Does everybody kind of understand that concept? All right. If not, just let me know. I'll try to explain it further. All right. All right. All right. So with that, next week on Friday, all right, what we're going to do is we're going to pretty much do this again, but we're going to structure sentences. Meaning we're going to add some object pronouns in there, some possessive pronouns in there. We're going to get a little fancy with it. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get a little fancy with it. We're going to, put some, whatever the case may be. We're going to get a little advanced next week. All right. So I hope y'all took good notes. Remember, rewatch the video you would like, whatever the case may be. Be ready next class. Bring the A game, you know what I'm saying? Study the language. Rehearse the righteous acts. This is our culture. This is our heritage. Take it very seriously, you know what I'm saying? Like even I practice, all right? Even I choose a word every day. I choose a verb to remember each day. I choose a tense each day so I can study it, so I can remember it, so I can get better at it. You know what I'm saying? All right, because we want to make this our main language and let English be our second language. Like that's the type of spirit you want. Like we don't let's refrain from English being our number one language. Let this Hebrew be our first language. Like the Chinese language is their first language. English comes second. You know, Italian is their first language. English comes second. French is their first language, but English comes second. Whatever the case may be. All right. Like the Hebrew language comes first, but the English language is second. Hebrew is our first language. English is our second language. That's how I operate. We should all operate like that. So with that, I say Imadium, which means to stand. Men of Israel, we're going to give a courage salute to the brothers. All right, men of Israel, Amadim Shabbat, Imadium, Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua Brakatha, Yadim Matah, Sar, La Awakia. Turn to the sisters. Men of Israel, we're going to give a courage salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Amadim Shabbat, Imadium, Barak, Yahweh Shamar Alathan Ba'ashim Yahushua, Yadim Matah. With that, class dismissed.